Hi everybody, I'm Jessie and thank you for joining me today for this fun craft project. I'm going to show you how to make a really fun Valentine's Day wreath door decoration. Alright, so to start off this project, you're going to need to take your knit material and cut it into strips. I cut mine about 2 inches. Now the reason why we're using a knit material is because cotton frays at the ends, and with the knit it doesn't, so there's no sewing involved. Plus it's stretchy, so it'll give us a little bit of give. Now you can also use fleece if that's what you have at home too. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, working on the back side of my wreath mold, I'm going to go ahead and start pinning my material down. So I'm just going to come in just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and put a pin into each corner. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to wrap this styrofoam in the material. So we don't have to put a whole lot of pins in because we'll be using it for the felt later on. So it'll get more stability as we work on our project. All right, once that's done, you can go ahead and take your material and go ahead and start wrapping. As you're doing this, you're going to want to make sure that your fabric lays as flat as possible. Okay, depending on how long your strips are will depend on how much of the material you use. If you end up needing to add more strips onto your thing, just at the end, just make sure that you go ahead and pin it down before you start adding onto your next strip. I'm going to add my new strip on just by overlapping it just a little bit to my old one, so that there's no gaps when we start wrapping, and making sure to pin those edges down good and tight. Okay, so I've already came back to where my first strip started, and so I don't want a whole bunch of extra bulk. So what I'm going to do is just make sure I have one more good wrap in, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin and cut the extra off. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and start adding in our felt hearts. Now, the way to make your felt hearts is simple. All I did was create a pattern using a piece of paper of a half of a heart. Now I'm going to take my felt and I'm going to fold it in half, put that pattern down, and you can pin it down to the material if it is easier for you, and go ahead and cut that heart shape out. And then when you open it up, ta-da, you have a full heart shape. So depending on how many hearts you want to put on your project will depend on how many you cut out. So I have some in both red and pink, and I'm going to go ahead and alternate them on my wreath. And they're pretty big, so what's going to happen is when I lay them down, they're actually going to wrap around just like that. Or you can lay them like that. Totally up to you guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap them like that. With a little bit, there we go. All right, once you figure out how you're going to put your hearts on, just using your pins, you're going to pin them in a couple different spots. You're going to go ahead and pin right here, and you're going to pin on the opposite side, so right there, and then you're going to pin right down at the bottom. All right, so once you have your first heart on, I'm just going to go ahead and keep going, and I'm going to give my hearts a little bit of a different look by switching their direction every time. All right, once you have your hearts all laid out and pinned down, once you get done, if you decide that you don't like the placement of your hearts, the best part about this is you can just take the pins out and reposition them. Nothing's going to hurt the material. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some white string and give it kind of a crisscross look to it. And the way I'm gonna do that is by starting at the top and tying it on the back side. All right, double knot it to make sure that it's nice and tight. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in with my string and I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it around. And I'm just gonna watch how I'm wrapping to make sure that I get it in the placement that I want. This will also help secure your hearts even more. All right, once you get back to the top to your starting place, go ahead and tie it off right here. You do not need to cut it because what we're gonna do is we are actually gonna go back around the opposite direction to create a crisscross effect. And so when we first did this, we started going this way. This time we're gonna go the opposite direction that we just came from. And so just using your string, and you can use your fingers to help hold it in place the first couple times. Just gonna come back through and start making sure to cross. So creating that X using the string. All right, once you get back up to the top, go ahead and wrap it around once more, just like that, and then tie it off in the back. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut my string a little long because I'm gonna go ahead and loop it again. Now, if you want to add a little bit of hot glue to this knot in the back just to give it a little extra stability, you can. From here, you guys can get as creative as you want. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, and I hope you had a fun time making this really fun wreath with me. So until next time, guys, bye.